I watched 20 different romance anime in the past 2.5 months. Let's rank them. Also, there will be spoilers for each show, so you have been warned. Oh yeah, all of this is because of a friend that recommended an anime to me. It's later on in this list, but you'll see. Alright, let's begin. At the dawn of time, when humanity was created, everything was peaceful and safe. We built pyramids, cities, towns, anything you can imagine. Well, that peace and prosperity would quickly be shattered on April 11th, 2021, with the release of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Now, if you enjoy this series, that's completely fine. The one thing I cannot stress enough is that everything I talk about on this channel is of my opinion. I'm not trying to openly state that my view of a show is the correct opinion, because guess what? There's no such thing as a correct or incorrect opinion. But the thing is, this show is quite literally my least favorite thing of all time. I seriously do not know where to begin. Nagatoro herself is one of the most unlikable pieces of shit I've ever watched. Her entire gimmick is teasing the male lead, Senpai, the entire time. And I know, there's some shows out there that do this same exact format, but I'm certain that they aren't as bad as this. She's just straight up annoying. Senpai himself is equally as bad. He's your typical young and pervy kid of whom never stands up for himself once. Not once! The many attempts that he does, however, are always shut down by other characters, or just for the show to get in a cheap laugh, which, by the way, the show never once made me laugh. Not once did I smile, laugh, enjoy, or cry during this entire show. Well, actually I did cry, pure tears of pain that is. Anyway, what I mostly hate about this show is the direction it goes. Remember, this is a romance story, so you know there's a romance? Not once did I feel any sense of chemistry or dynamic between Nagatoro or Senpai. Like I said before, the whole show revolves around Nagatoro making fun of and teasing Senpai, while also calling him the same unfunny insult every fucking 10 seconds. The show does its best to throw in some romance, but what we get doesn't even matter considering every time that there is a romantic moment or anything like that, the show fucking ruins it with a dumb joke, or the next episode just completely forgets everything that happened prior. Every single time Nagatoro is about to apologize for being a little too mean, she just takes everything back, and it's all played for jokes, because the show doesn't know how to have a genuine moment between the two for once. It also drags on throughout the middle chunk of season 2, which, I'm not joking you, I legit had to force myself awake because I was on the verge of falling asleep. It's just so awful and boring. Let's swing back around and see how this piece of attempts to win the audience's heart with romance, because remember, these anime are supposed to have romance. There's a scene in the show where Senpai is drawing the art club president because he does that for some reason, and to everyone's surprise, Nagatoro walks in on him and gets jealous. Senpai tries to explain, but she ends up just running away, pouting like the little shithead who got a timeout in the corner. Not once did the show leading up to this have any believable romantic scenes with the two, so it's completely jarring when Senpai starts to feel bad and makes it his life mission to say he's sorry. What the f***? Not once did Nagatoro ever apologize for the constant bullying, harassing, and tormenting she ever did to him. But it's fine, because the show wants to have an excuse for a heart-to-heart moment because Senpai was in the wrong. Yeah, bullshit. I haven't even gotten to my least favorite part about the show. Yeah, it somehow gets worse. You thought Nagatoro was bad? Oh. No. Well, say hi to our absolutely insufferable friends Yoshi and Gamo. Seriously, these two fuckers are the most unbearable characters in any show or piece of media ever. Just like Nagatoro, their whole gimmick is bullying and harassing Senpai, because the show sticks to the one unfunny shtick the entire time. And you know what? Yoshi is just forgettable. Just forget about her. The one who is truly infuriating is Gamo. Holy shit, I cannot stand Gamo. Her one character trait is to harass Senpai worse than anyone else, which is somehow possible in this piece of You know, you'd think that the show would actually have the effort of trying by, let's say, Nagatoro's friends are a supporting aid to Senpai in a way for him to get away from her, but no. Oh wait, Nagatoro gets jealous if anyone else touches or goes near Senpai, especially if it's a female. Yeah, she can torment him all she wants because she's the best. Oh my god, this series is so bad, I hate it. It's actually insane. I'm gonna go sit in the corner and really reflect on my decisions about this stupid show. 1 out of 10. You.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Oh boy, I didn't want to talk about this shit, but here I am. Yay. Mach and Key is one of the worst things I've ever watched in my life. Seriously, I don't know how you can take this shit normally. Like, I have to blur all of this. I think it's pretty evident why it's bad, but here it goes. Fan service. Yeah, this is a term you'll hear me say frequently, and I absolutely hate when shows do this. Not only is it a cheap way to lure your audience, but it's usually done in the most shameless way possible. It's like dangling keys in front of a baby, but except without the keys. Like, every single second, there's more and more fan service. Like, stop! It's so unnecessary and out of place, and I know, the show is rated 18+, but here's the thing. There's shows out there that are the exact same rating. You got Futurama, BoJack Horseman, South Park, and even... Like, do you see what I'm saying? At least with those shows, they're not shoving constant sex jokes, images, and scenes down your throat. The show itself feels so inconsistent, especially with the characters. The main lead, Taki, is by far my least favorite protagonist next to this thing. His whole entire motive throughout the show is not liking seeing women get hurt or into fights, due to his mother passing away due to conflict at a young age. Okay, that may seem like a good and rich story to follow, yeah, no. Instead, the show makes him your typical pervert teenager who gets himself into wacky situations alongside his friend, of whom I can't even remember his name right now. Taki is seriously one of the worst written characters ever. For one moment, Taki cares so deeply about women, then the next scene he's looking in on them changing. Yeah, super fun character right there. Then there's Haruko, which she is so damn boring. The show tries to have romance between both her and Taki, but the only thing the show ever does is show flashbacks of when they were kids. Okay? The moments they do show, however, are just them having fun and doing regular things that young kids would do, like play outside. Hey show, if you want to display some form of romance, you gotta do better than just showing random flashbacks of them. And Haruko is the standard jealous girl type whenever she sees another woman hitting on Taki. Like, all the times he attempted to do something, you always shoo him away, but you still like or maybe have feelings for him? Make it make sense, show! The rest of the characters suck. They're extremely flat and boring with little to none character depth, excluding Taki. I swear he's like the only one who gets any form of effort in a backstory. The dialogue is also severely bad, with it making me cringe almost every time the girls begin a fight. And you think that an awesome fight scene is about to happen, but then the fan service makes itself known and instantly ruins the mood. Hey guys, let's take a shot every time a form of fan service appears on screen. The story of the Makin itself is never well explained either. They just tell us that there's 7 Makin artifacts or whatever, and then the Makin is like an ability that these girls use. Okay. The villain or antagonist also sucks. Like, wow, she kidnapped Haruko, and now Taki's going to save the day. Whoa, yippee! And don't even get me started on the final few episodes of Season 1. Like, seriously, what the f***? I didn't even bother to watch Season 2 of this piece of shit because I knew the first season was enough to tell me of the tone of this moving forward, and the preview images of Season 2 prove my exact point. So yeah, this show is super terrible. If you like poorly written characters, a terrible opening theme, and an endless amount of fan service that never goes anywhere, then this is your show. 2 out of 10. I hate it.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues.
Can I start talking about good shows now, please? Oh, what? I wonder who's calling. Hello? Oh, no. You want me to talk about that? Okay, let's speed this up. The 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You is also a really bad show. Get it? Because the title has a bunch of reallys in it. It's not as insufferable as the previous two, but it's obvious why I put it so low. I mean, just look at the damn premise. And believe it or not, this was my first harem. If you don't know what a harem is, it's defined like this, where the male lead has multiple female partners or interests. And for this list and the channel moving forward, since I do plan to cover a lot of anime, let me tell you this, I'm not the hugest fan of harems. Like, I mostly prefer the regular 2 leads relationship rather than multiple of them. I don't know, it's just my take. If you like harems, that's you, but me personally, I don't. Anyway, this show is super strange and bad. The central protagonist, Rentaro, is fine enough. He's not really that special or memorable outside of dating his first girlfriend's mom. For some f***ing reason. Yeah, when you watch this, you'll understand 2 things right off the bat. It's a fan service dream mixed with the other definition of shameless. The titular girlfriends happen all because one day Rentaro met the love god, and prior to that, he was rejected in middle school over 100 times. And if Rentaro is unable to get a soulmate, the girl will die. And all of this is put onto us within the first episode. Like, we get all of this exposition dump right away, and you have to step back for a minute and truly digest all of what just happened. Now, let's talk about the characters. Like I said, Rentaro is your basic teenager boy who is surprisingly calm and reserved, but also he's just kind of forgettable. Later characters like Hakari, Karane, Shizuka, Nano, Kusari, and Hahari will also become the titular girlfriends he is bound to meet. And out of all of them in the eventual I can't even count that will come, honestly my favorites being Nano and Shizuka. Nano is super badass, and I even wonder sometimes if she's even human. Even the show wonders that. And there's Shizuka, who is super adorable, with only being able to talk with her phone. All of the others are just kinda there, with a love god also being kind of annoying. But the standout here, and not for a good reason, is Hahari. She's Hakari's mom, and she has an interesting and deep backstory about becoming a mother at the age of only 13, with her boyfriend passing away due to his sickness. But the show completely throws that out the window with, for some reason, having Hahari being one of Rentaro's soulmates. Yeah, what the f***? Yeah, that's kind of the show's main problem. It attempts to make genuine and sweet moments that actually do end up working and feel real in the moment. But then it's back to more fan service and absolutely unnecessary moments that are just so out of place. I don't know, I don't really have much to say more about this. There's a lot more I can rant about the show, like it being too self-aware at some points. And I've stated before in the past that I'm not a fan of fourth wall break jokes unless they're actually done right. And of course, 100 Girlfriends doesn't do that. I probably should have mentioned this at the start, but I'm only talking about season 1 here. As of recording this video, I'm unfortunately halfway through season 2, and it's not fun. Literally, the beginning 5 minutes of the first episode is just them being super self-aware and meta, by them talking about when Rentaro met his girlfriends. Like, in season 1, I adore the many references to pop culture because they're either subtle or the most noticeable thing ever. But then again, it can get a little too much for my liking. I don't know, the show just kind of speaks for itself, but not in a good way. It's funny sometimes, I guess. 2 out of 10, go watch if you want.
No, stay back!
Wait, where did you get that piano?
World End is just something that was interesting at first, but the more I watched it, the less I liked it. And the main reason for that is I just didn't find the story all that interesting. We follow our main protagonist, Willem, who is the last remaining survivor ever since humanity was driven to extinction 500 years ago, where he fought in a final battle which ended up making him get trapped in ice for all of that time. Now, in the present, Willem comes back to be the babysitter of these things known as leprechauns, who are also called fairies. These girls, of only a select few, wield magical weapons that can take down the culprits behind humanity's fate, the beasts. See, now that may be an interesting story, but in the end, it truly never gets explained. We're just kind of told this and expected to get what's completely going on. Which, I got the general gist, but I wish it was just a little better told. Like, the beasts are absolutely terrifying creatures, and the show does well at showing their powers and abilities. But if you're going to make them overarching antagonists, I would think that they need to be shown way more. I do like the world building and how humanity had no other choice but to evacuate to Sky Islands as a way of avoiding the beasts at all costs. I think Willem as a protagonist is alright. He serves his purpose as the caretaker for these girls, and there's genuine emotion when midway through the season, he's terrified that they may have not survived their battle with the beasts. And when they do come back, he's happy that they're alive, which is good. There's other characters like this maid who for the life of me I cannot pronounce her name. There's a lot more, but there's 3 other standouts that I'd like to point out, with that being Nephrin, Ethia, and our main girl, Cathali. Let's just talk about Cathali and her struggle real quick, because throughout the show, Cathali begins to act strange when her hair begins to turn red. All of this stems from her previous life, along with the fear of becoming a beast. And I gotta admit, the show does a good job at showing how terrifying her inner struggles are. But where the show loses me is of how much it shows. Almost to a point where it becomes overwhelming and kinda confusing. Like, yeah, it's also due to her mental disintegration, and the scenes that show her slowly losing her memory is scary as all hell. But it all feels pointless in the end, considering it's implied that she's dead after the fall of the ending of the show. I don't know, man. I really just don't have much to say about this show. Like, I wish each character felt more forward and established, but what we get is a fine enough series that, in my opinion, is just kind of forgettable. Again, if you love this show, that's you, but to me, it just kind of felt like a whatever watch. It's not bad, but it's not great either. 5 out of 10.
No, thanks, Chowder.
Please?
No, Chowder.
Pretty please.
What the?
Tsundere Children is pretty decent. That's about it. What Akagi and Kaji, I don't know if it's just me, but Akagi is too damn pushy sometimes, and it's low-key kind of uncomfortable to watch. Like, to me, he just comes off as a creep rather than a smooth and chill guy. The other couples are all fun to watch too, but like I said earlier of how their screen time is limited, I just think there's way too many characters to focus on. Like, every time the scene would cut to a new pair, I would just kind of forget the first two at the beginning of each episode. You kind of see where I'm coming from. I don't hate this show, not in the slightest, but I'm more of a fan when there's a central couple to focus on. But I do like how it chose to be unique and focus on different pairs. But one after the other just kind of gets pummeled under each one. In my opinion, this is just kind of a cute and wholesome romance. Not a whole lot to work with here, but it's fun overall. 6 out of 10, it's a decent and worthy fit to your watch list.
I am so lonely.
Out of all of the shows on this list, this is probably going to be the biggest outlier out of all of them. But in my opinion, My Dress Up Darling isn't that great. The first time I watched it, I actually really liked it, which prompted me to give it a second watch. But over time, I really thought to myself thinking, this show has so many problems. And also, this was my second rom-com that I've ever watched, so I didn't have the proper methods of judging a romance anime at the time. But yeah, Dress Up Darling isn't good. All because of one familiar thing that a lot of romance animes have in common. Fan service. We all love fan service, don't we? This is by far the show's biggest problem because I felt like it could have been a wholesome and genuinely fun time, along with learning the ways of cosplay making and crafting. But the characters, especially Maureen, are reduced to pure sex objects rather than fully fleshed out people. Kieran, do you even know the concept of cosplay and that women's cosplay contains revealing areas? Hey, did you know that a lot of, if not most, cosplay isn't revealing at all? What the dude was called a freak and made fun of for his passion for making Hina dolls. And I think the show does a great job of displaying his social anxiety and trying to fit in. Maureen, as flawed as she is a great shoulder to lean on for him, as much as the show gives her. Besides the main leads are the other characters, and that being Juju and her sister. Yeah, I find Juju to be really annoying, with her being the bratty and whiny girl stereotype. She's extremely forgettable, and the show for some reason has a lolly scene. Yeah, what the f***? Her sister is also entirely forgettable, and the fan service really gets to her, to which I really don't need to explain why. And finally, I just think the romance between the main two is super rushed and honestly felt kinda last minute. Like at the end of episode 5, Gojo compliments Maureen, to which she takes this and gushes over the fact that a dude finally saw her for who she is. Then in episode 6 and onwards, she constantly fantasizes over Gojo, saying that she loves him, and so on and so forth. And the season ends with an I love you from her, which to me feels kinda unearned considering Gojo didn't do much in terms of actually liking her back as a potential partner. But I'm hoping that season 2 will be better in terms of every problem that I have for the show, which premieres this July. Now, like with the previous entry in this ranking, I don't hate this show. But if I had to put it honestly, it's the lowest form of decent. 6 out of 10. Go watch if you want to. You Are Miss Servant was a show that I was very hesitant to watch. My favorite character in the entire show. Her backstory of her growing up as a trained assassin is really interesting to see. The show also displays of how great a fighter Yuki is, with her never quitting or giving up on her desired goal. If she has her eyes on something, she'll get it, no matter what. There's other characters like Riko, who is Hitayoshi's younger sister, who can also be labeled as his wingman, honestly. She's adorable and has a specific charm to her that makes her who she is. But by far the most outrageous and out of place character is Grace. Now remember how I said earlier this show is kinda tame with the fan service? Well, all that pretty much applies to Grace. She's a good antagonist and is somewhat threatening towards both Yuki and Hitayoshi. But I can't take her seriously when her entire plan was to tie up Hitayoshi on a soccer net to lure her away. And when she's defeated, she kinda just becomes a main character and chills with the rest of the gang for the rest of the show. But what we get of her is certainly interesting to say the least. Like, was she actually the school nurse, or did she just happen to see Yuki attending Hitayoshi's school and put her plan into motion? I don't know. What I like most about the show is the struggles that Yuki faces with her adjusting to her new life. The many flashes of her past, what it was like growing up, is well done emotionally, and it's all added together to create a well-written character. And I actually find it kind of adorable with both Hitoyoshi and Yuki's relationship and how the show chooses to handle it. It doesn't feel rushed or out of the ordinary. We're given time to see how these people see each other for who they are. But unfortunately, the one downside is that Yuki isn't sometimes the brightest when it comes to romance, with her just kind of being dismissive whenever the topic is brought up. But I really don't mind that, since that's in line with her character. Not really a nitpick, just something that I want to point out. In the moment, it's a 7 out of 10. Go watch it. It's quite rad.
Guys?
Guys?
Shikimori is not just a cutie is really good, with the main leads being some of the most adorable ones in this ranking. The fun slice of life elements really amplify the show and its nature. That's what's really fun about it. Both Izumi and Shikimori are one of the best couples that I've seen in an anime, paired with the other side characters. You got Nekozuki, Inizuka, and Hachimitsu, who's a friend group that I'd like to be a part of. They're all really enjoyable, with Inizuka being the best bro to Izumi and who's always beside him, alongside his girlfriend Shikimori herself. Yeah, come to no one's surprise, Shikimori is the best character in the show. She has such a fun and different type of personality that makes her stand out amongst the others, and the way that she interacts with her boyfriend is super cute. Like, how could you hate this show? Oh, and speaking of Izumi, he's a good male lead. His whole character trait is that he has bad luck wherever he goes, like tripping on a rock, falling backwards over a curb, or a truck blowing smoke in his face. Asshole. But thankfully, his girlfriend is there to save him every time he gets into trouble, with the low-key being awesome sometimes. The show is also paced decently, with the gang going on your usual rom-com adventures like a summer vacation, fireworks festival, etc, etc. And I think the episode where they attend the festival is easily the best one, because up to this point we've only seen cute lovey-dovey moments between the main leads. And with this episode, we see how the relationship truly is, and it's endearing to watch. I also think the subplot with Kamiya, while it's nothing new, is explored really well, with her getting a satisfying conclusion. Oh, and the final episode of when they're on the boat together is super adorable. But this is where my minor issues come into play, because while this show does well at showing both Izumi and Shikimori's relationship and dynamic, I do think it's handled a bit weird sometimes, and it feels like that's the only thing the show does in terms of plot progression. Like midway through the show, it kind of drags and forgets them all together because we gotta spend time at the culture festival. Yippee. I don't know why whenever these pop up in animes, I just get kind of bored. Sometimes it's done right and they're actually enjoyable, but Shikimori kind of forgets about the main point of the show and chooses to shift its direction towards that. Like, I'm all for a little break in between the cutesy romantic moments, but it takes up a little too much of the show in my opinion. Now, to be fair, I'm glad the show took that approach because it at least focused towards something non-romance related, and it kinda took me out for the time being though. And like what I said earlier, I also think the show kinda gets a little repetitive. Don't get me wrong, it's cute and adorable with the main leads, but the moments in their dynamic really just play out the same without any subtle difference in between them. It's just Izumi's bad luck almost gets him hurt, Shikimori then saves him and a cute interaction plays out. Rinse and repeat. I don't know, the show isn't something too serious to harp on. It's a fun slice of life romance, and if you enjoy it, that's great. If you don't, I can see why. Overall, I enjoy its fun attitude with its good characters, wholesome main leads, and fun setting choices that they all go to. I highly recommend this one to you because it's fun, you should check it out. 7 out of 10.
Oh, look at that. I've been impaled.
In Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride is quite enjoyable. I saw a lot of people recommending this one to me, and I can definitely see where y'all come from. The world building in this show is absolutely amazing, with us being taken to a medieval setting alongside magical sorcerers. This is where we meet our main protagonist, Zagon, who is regarded as the most powerful sorcerer out of everyone else. Alongside him is this asshole but also best friend Barbatos, and his main female lead being Neffy. Yeah, come to no one's shock, Zagon and Neffy are easily the best characters of the show. Neffy serves her role after being sold at an auction at the beginning of the show, to which Zagon spends all of his savings to purchase her. There he fell in love at first sight, and from this point forward, Zagon now has an elf assistant, and is also the most powerful sorcerer in all of the land. What is it wrong with him? He lacks basic social skills. Hey Zagon, we have a lot in common, man. Along with that, Neffy's backstory is truly sad and how she was able to conquer her trauma through and through. And it's low-key kind of fucked up how she views herself as an object and worthless if she's not told to do something by her master. But aside from that, Neffy is one of the most adorable characters I have ever seen. The way her ears wiggle whenever she shows emotion, or simply the way she interacts with others is super cute. Aside from the main leads, the other characters are enjoyable. I enjoy this little kid character that Zoggon and Neffy both adopt temporarily, and the fact that Zoggon gets better socially throughout the show is a nice touch. Lady Chastile is a fun addition, along with the antagonist of the series, Raphael. Every time this scary motherfucker was on screen, I was worried for the character's safety. That's until he becomes Zoggon's butler and is just like the chillest guy in the world. I overall think the story progresses well, but honestly, there could have been way more moments between both the main leads, and the series is mainly about them, so there could have been a little bit more work there, but what we get is well thought and earned, so I don't mind too much. Zoggon is hilarious throughout every interaction he has with her, and with Neffy either totally oblivious to what he's doing or her face turning bright red. Overall, this show is pretty good, and if you like a fantasy setting with fun characters and cool sorcerer magic, this is for you. 7 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
We often wonder, what would happen if we got superpowers? I mean, hell, we'd be changing the world as we know it, for better or for worse. Well, the Ice Guy and his cool female colleague takes that concept and goes absolutely wild with it. And yeah, this show is really enjoyable. Every single character is so fun to watch. Our main guy, Himido, is a dude with white hair and the ability to create snowstorms and blizzards whenever he gets too locked in on his work or a little too excited. And honestly, he's one of my favorite male leads to watch, mainly because of how kind and well written his character is. The titular female lead, Fiotsky, is also really enjoyable. Her personality is more chill and laid back, almost never raising her voice at all. And she's one of the main 4 characters that doesn't have any magical powers whatsoever. There's also Sajimi, who's your typical worried and always there kind of friend, who also doesn't have any powers. Finally, there's Komori, and she's such a delight to watch too. Everyone in this show is enjoyable. She has a very bubbly and kind personality with her powers alongside Himido, in which she can turn into a fox. Well, almost at least. There's others that I could talk about, like Himido's longtime friend Katari, who has the powers of a f***ing phoenix. How cool is that? There's also Yukimin, who is Himido's little sister, and who is hilarious every time we see her. Why I like this series so much is because of how much the fantasy elements are integrated. Himido has his ice powers because he's the descendant of an ice spirit, which is dope as hell. Komori is the descendant of a fox spirit, if you couldn't tell. And like I said earlier, Katori is a descendant of a phoenix. So cool. I overall like how it's shown to us because it makes us think that if there's other people around the world who are also descendants of other spirits. And while there isn't an official confirmation for season 2, I'm hopeful that we get one because I'd love to see more descendants from other spirits. Like, how cool would it be if I was a descendant of a megalodon or something like that? You know, now that I'm thinking about it, how would that work? Finally, I think the dynamic between both Himido and Fiotsky is really wholesome. They start off the show with Fiotsky meeting Himido, who is trapped in an ice block, to which she uses her hot drink to help melt the ice. Then when they officially become co-workers, the relationship begins to form with very cute moments, like when Himido gets too hot at the beach, he shrinks into a younger version of himself and Fiotsky calms him down by giving a popsicle, which is super sweet, along with a little head pat. Overall, I really don't have any personal issues with this show. Maybe the pacing sometimes feels a little slow, but honestly, the build-up is worth it for the finale, and I definitely think you should check this one out because you'll have a chill time. Get it? Because Himido has ice power?
It's severe flaking!
Cindy, can you not call me Nerdtron now that we're married?
Shiori, the very annoying but best sprout Kamo, the W-Man's Tenjin, and Akadi's friends, of whom I don't want to name off right now because I just don't care. Shiori is probably my second favorite character behind Jito. She's so damn adorable, alongside Jito's best friend Kama, who at first I really disliked, but over time, he grew on me and became a not so bad character. Tenjin is the laid back and honest guy who has a dark backstory that I'll also touch on later. I really like his character because he feels the most real out of anyone, with him being honest and true about his feelings towards Akadi and about his past. Akadi's friends are your typical mean girls who only serve their purpose to help her with her problems or something else along the lines. They don't really get any development as characters, they're just kinda there. Now we move on to the main leads, and honestly, they're the best part about the show, primarily due to one of them, and I know for damn certain you know who it is. Anyone want to take a guess though? You in the back. Ding, 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 ding! It's your boy, Jito. Yeah, he's probably the funniest character in the entire show due to how every time he encounters a woman, he fumbles the bag. I'm not joking you, this happens so much to where a point it low-key pisses me off sometimes. Almost to the point where I'm slamming my head into a wall, like, Jito, come on! It's not that hard! I think the elements with him and Akadi are sweet and genuine until Akadi calls him out on his bullshit, to which he does his best to defend himself, which never goes anywhere. It's so bad bad to where I can't even think of a specific moment to where he sells because it's constant, always pulling out his Game Boy console thingy in times of need. But as great as this show is, there's my criticisms with it, mainly because of how the relationship is between the central leads. It feels kinda forced. Now, before you start saying, well, no it feels forced, they were assigned into a practical. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that I feel like the show is actively forcing them into a genuine relationship, with the usual rom-com tropes accompanying them. I just don't buy Akadi's feelings towards Jito after all the times that they had together. Now yes, I know that Akadi was messing with him, but I just don't buy it. For most of the show, she's been only eyeing up her real crush, which is Tenjin. And after Tenjin reveals why he can't be with her, it just feels like she immediately runs to Jito afterwards, like, was he just a backup in case this happened? I don't know, it just feels kinda off to me considering better in the end. But overall, it's fine. It's not a huge complaint, I still really like the show and everything it has, but that was 7 out of 10. Go check it out for yourself.
Super Mario Galaxy!
I really enjoyed A Galaxy Next Door. It takes the fantasy plot and adds something new to it that I genuinely didn't expect to happen. We have our main male lead, Ichiro, who is a manga artist, and in the beginning of the series, we're told that Ichiro's father has died, leaving him to look after his two siblings, Machi, who is the funniest character in the show, and Fumio, who only repeats certain phrases when other people talk to him. Then there's the main female lead, Shiori herself. Wait, another Shiori? She's the main appeal of this series, within a whole backstory and information on her. But first, these two need to meet. What the hell? Yeah, my favorite part about this show is of how the two leads fall in love with each other, and it's by Ichiro accidentally touching her stinger, which triggered a sensation that they are now officially engaged. You see, Shiori is the princess of the Shooting Star people, and their customs are a little different compared to others, with them also living on an island. And the rule is that if someone made contact with her stinger, they would have to get married. Now, everyone is wondering if they can beat the inevitable marriage pact before it's too late. And I think that's such a cool premise because we're told that they can avoid the pact if they remove her stinger. And this brings up a question. Okay, will they not have any feelings for each other if they remove the stinger? And throughout the whole time you're watching this, you're thinking that to yourself, like, what happens after that? They do eventually get the stinger out, and the most tear-jerking moment of the show is when Shiori asks Ichiro if he's still in love with her, to which he hugs her tightly. That's good stuff right there. The whole reason how they met in the first place was because he needed an assistant for his manga art, and in order to help balance time and his efforts. And what's even better is how we see Shiori slowly adjusting to life away from home. That's even more good stuff. It does well in showing how she reacts to everything and her understanding from Ichigo and his siblings. And the moments that we do get from the main leads are so precious and wholesome. Like the earlier mentioned stinger removal or the Christmas tree scene are really nice. And what makes it better is the type of relationship that they have, from assistants to lovers. And unlike others, there's not a whole lot that I dislike here. My one minor complaint is how Ichiro's cousin, who watches his siblings whenever he's out, has a crush on him. What the fuck? I honestly don't have a whole lot to say because this is one you should go into without any opinion on. It's underrated and I think it's well worth your time. 8 out of 10. It's pretty epic and stuff.
I'm done. I'm out. I'm not streaming until I get a good night's sleep.
Oh, college. A wonderful place full of adventures and stuff like that. Especially when you find a quiet, introverted gamer like the man himself, Yamada. Yeah, my love story with Yamada-kun at level 999 is so damn good. From the fun characters to the simple but well done gaming aspect of it all, it's really fun. We follow college student Akane as she just got dumped by her boyfriend, but through and through, she's a hardcore player of a game called Forest of Savior. And there she meets the emotionless but chill guy Yamada, of whom he's just there to play the game and that's it. But when she attends an event, she actually meets the dude in real life. From there, the two get closer to each other, and wacky hijinks ensue that will test these two's relationship. And I really like the rest of the characters besides the main two. Aside from the main leads, there's Akane's roommate Momo, brother and sister Aida and Runa, and I swear to God my mouth dropped whenever it was revealed that the female avatar that Akane befriended turned out to be Aida. Like genuinely, I did not expect that to happen. Runa is Aida's little sister, and honestly, I enjoy the moments between both her and Akane. It's genuinely wholesome and fun to see these two bond over certain things. What I like about the show is the gaming aspect that's at play here, since that's kind of how our main cast gets assembled in the first place. They're all part of the same guild and enjoy each other's company, and I really like all of their dynamics. Aida and Akane's relationship is sweet, and they seem like genuine friends that would hang out with one another. And finally, there's the relationship between Akane and Yamada. Yeah, it's super sweet. Akane's bright and shy personality contrasts well with Yamada's cold and quiet attitude. The moments that they have together are super wholesome, especially with the confession scene at the end being one of my absolute favorites of the entire show, with Yamada finally opening up and accepting Akane's feelings. And they're super adorable. They play off one another really well. No pun intended. I seriously hope for a season 2 because I would definitely like to see one. There's a few ways that they can take this show, and I'm all in for it. 8 out of 10. I highly recommend for you to check it out yourself.
I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how fast you are. I can see the future. You don't live to see tomorrow.
Chilling in another world with level 2 super cheat powers. God, that is a mouthful, is one of the better fantasy romance anime series, and I enjoyed every single part about this show. From the well-done fight and action sequences, the way in which magic works in this world, and pretty much just everything else. The show consists of Fleo, a simple merchant living in a world of discrimination and magic. We see that certain creatures are treated poorly compared to normal humans, and I think the show does a decent job at showing that message, which I'll touch on later. Anyway, Fleo is summoned to the titular new world by the Kingdom of Clyrode, by a system of trials. You see, the world is currently under fire from the demons who threaten human civilization, and Clyrode summons random people to potentially earn the spot of the worthy champion to fight against these evil foes. And among those people, Fleo was summoned here and he was deemed unfit, which results in him getting kicked out to the forest. Here he starts fighting off creatures and slowly getting better at his magic. And throughout it all, he starts reaching infinite power, which gives, well, unlimited power. Along his journey, he meets his eventual wife Reese, along with the others like Valerosa, Belano, Bilary, and Blossom. They all live together with Fleo and Reese being the overheads of the household. There's others like Luminous and Gozel, who was the prior Dark Lord before his brother took over. And Gozel for the first half of the show is a pretty good villain. Along with that, there's Hira and Suya. Yeah, I hate this little shit so much, but in a good way. He's not unlikable, unlike a certain other anime. This show has a lot of stuff that I like about it. The world building is absolutely colorful and stunning, paired with the previously mentioned characters. Like, literally, there's not a single bad one. I know, that's shocking. Like, there's even a moment in the show where a random djinn is summoned to kill Fleo, but Reese jumps in the way and sacrifices her life for him. And like, that caught me off guard so bad. But my favorite part that gave me chills was Fleo's actions that come right after that. He just proceeds to beat the ever-living shit out of the djinn. And like, that marked the moment of Fleo being officially a badass with his magic, because remember, he has an infinite amount of it. Now, I do have minor issues with the show, that being how Fleo gets his magic. Like, bro literally just gets it within the first day of being in the new world. Like, it would have been a lot better, not only from a writing perspective, but a general point to make him gradually get his powers throughout the show. I get it's the name of the show, but you kind of have to have the hero learn slowly throughout his experiences in order to, you know, learn his magic. The show afterwards just kind of has him doing cool stuff, impressing the people around him, and rinse and repeat. I don't know, it's just a minor issue. I still love the show regardless, and oh yeah, I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, the romance! Yeah, Fleo and Reese are super adorable and easily one of the most wholesome pairings ever. They meet after Fleo mistakes her for a lost young girl, and after a little encounter with her transforming into her wolf form, Fleo doesn't kill her. She's shocked by this and vows to be his slave, considering her tribe's rules that they vow their lives to their masters. But Fleo, being the W-man he is, he shoos that possibility away. But Reese doesn't get what he's saying, to which prompts Fleo to say that she's just his companion. And throughout the show, they slowly warm up to each other, with Fleo even proposing to her at one point. And her reaction is like the most adorable thing ever. And I laughed almost every time one minor inconvenience pissed off Reese because it would either mess up her vacation with Fleo or anything else. W-wife right there. Yeah, I really like this show. I highly recommend it, and I'm hoping that a season 2 will come, but that's in the near future. Seriously, please, I beg of you guys, go watch it so we can see a continuation, please. 8 out of 10. Go check it out for yourself.
My first girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Imagine you're sitting out on a cold night, freezing your ass off, and then you see a girl. You're then hit with love at first sight. You go to say hi, but you end up getting hit by a truck instead. But then you wake up to see that same girl has saved you from getting killed. Instant marriage! Yeah, Tonikawa Over the Moon for You is super duper good. It takes the one issue I have with romance anime, and that being how the main leads get together at the end of the show, and forcing us to wait during that time. It throws all of that completely out the window. Nasa and Tsukasa are probably the cutest anime couple besides the top 3, at least from the shows that I've watched so far. And what I like most about it is that it gives us time to see these characters' relationship and how they depend on one another. It has the perfect slice of life element that really gives it its charm. Nasa is the main male lead with him being super smart, and Tsukasa is the main female lead with her being a real powerhouse of a wife. Along with that, we got side characters such as the creeping Kamine and her sister Aya, who is definitely something. There's also Tsukasa's bratty stepsister Chitose, who also wanted to supposedly marry her or something, leading to a rivalry between both her and Nasa. This show is also really funny, with some moments catching me off guard. Like, one of my favorite little moments was when Aya found out that both Nasa and Tsukasa were married, and the face that she makes is definitely going in my meme archive. But what I love most about the show is the supernatural element to it all, with all that having to do with Tsukasa. Yeah, it's implied that she's shown or is immortal or something. I mean, how could she have survived getting hit by that truck? There's also various moments throughout the show that definitely give a hint to prove Tsukasa's true nature. And in the last 4 episodes when Nasa teaches at an all-girls school, there's one mysterious one named Kaguya. It's implied that she has some connection to Tsukasa, with the two walking by each other one day and Kaguya telling her something that rocks her to her core. But at the end of the day, she's a sweet person who cares deeply about her future moving forward and her husband. Like I mentioned earlier, both Nasa and Tsukasa are super adorable with one another. It's one of the better series to explore both the main leads' dynamic, and it's really sweet to see. One thing I do wish the show didn't do was introduce Kaguya in the last 4 episodes, but I don't mind it personally, and what we get truly counts, so again, I don't mind. She's such a mysterious character, and I would have liked to get more from her, but again, I don't mind it. Overall, I really like this show. If you truly want to feel lonely though, then this is a series to watch. I'm kidding, but if you want to watch something good, then definitely check this out. 8 out of 10. It's epic.
My snore in Russian.
A show that I did not expect to be this high was Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. Because at first, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I just thought, oh hey, that seems like a good romance anime. I'll check it out. And I did. To which I was completely shocked at how it wasn't like what I was suspecting. Alya feels very stylish in terms of what it has to offer, because again, this was something that I wasn't expecting to be this good. Alya is a transfer student from Russia going into a brand new school, where she's instantly hit on by a douchebag. He tries to win her over, but Alya, being the W she is, shuts him down instantly, embarrassing him in front of everyone. And when she arrives in class, we see who she really has eyes for, and it's this slumbering jackass, Kuze. Alya and Kuze are absolutely hilarious. They're such a fun duo to watch. From one moment they can be sweet and genuine with each other, to then Alya straight up just slapping him in the face. It's a good dynamic they got going on. The show can be genuinely sweet too, like how Kuze and Alya met, with him taking her hand to dance. It's wholesome and enjoyable to see Alya not only getting comfortable with someone new, but Kuze not treating her like she's this grand prize that must be won. He sees her as a genuine person rather than what most guys would do. And aside from them, the side characters are equally as enjoyable. We got Masha, Alya's sister, who's just the cutest goofball ever. There's Kuze's friends, who really don't get any development outside of the first episode, but they're entertaining regardless. There's the creepy but hilarious Ayano. Then the school council president, Kenzuki, who's just the chillest dude ever. Yeah, Alya's got a huge cast, but I feel like there's someone missing. I can't put my finger on it. Oh wait, there's Yuki. Yuki is a one-of-a-kind character who is just the wackiest individual, and with the highest amount of energy I've ever seen in a person. Now I know a lot of people find the incest jokes a little weird, and yeah, they are. But to me, I think it's outright hilarious every time it happens. Yeah, the humor of the show can get a bit too much sometimes, but it perfectly balances out to where it doesn't give you a headache. Like the scene when he stumbles in on her in the bathroom. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, if I haven't made it clear yet, these two are siblings. The show breaks the fourth wall a lot with Yuki, especially when she makes a glare at the camera. This prompts Kuze to ask who she's even talking to. She then snarks back with the two yelling at each other. And what I'm saying here isn't enough to truly explain the scene. You just have to watch the show to see what I truly mean here. Also, yes, I did mention that the show breaks the fourth wall, but let me clarify one last time for this channel moving forward. Fourth wall break jokes are only funny when they're handled right. It matters on the line delivery and timing. And if you're able to win in both of those categories, then you got a funny show in your hands. It doesn't work, however, when you fail in both of those areas. You see what I mean? I also think the overall story of Alya going up against Yuki for the role of student council president is, while simple, executed really well. The dynamic between both Kuze and Alya as a duo not only spikes up their relationship, but also their teamwork skills. And the show does a good job at making you want to root for them to win. And back to Yuki. She's a fun and enjoyable antagonist, using sleek but effective techniques to lower Alya's confidence, which is also pretty cruel. F you, Yuki, don't do Alya like that. Overall, this show is so damn good. There's nothing that I really don't like, except for maybe when the humor gets a bit too eccentric sometimes. I also think the whole hypnosis scene was completely unnecessary. Like, if you were to cut that out, nothing would change. But in the end, it's a fun watch that will keep you hooked the entire time. And due to how popular the show was, Season 2 got instantly greenlit. Release date is still unknown, but I will be there on the day it premieres. 8 out of 10. I highly recommend it. It's that amazing.
You still sure this is gonna go your way?
Damn near certain.
Ever get supposedly rejected by your crush when you were younger? I'm sure a lot of us have. But did you ever decide to take that pain and transform yourself into a god? I'm sure you have as well. Masamune's Revenge is a show that is super enjoyable from start to finish. Here we meet Masamune Makabe, a buff and handsome high school student who gets all the attention from the ladies. But instead of being a mindless meathead, he only has one goal in mind, and that is to get revenge on the cruel princess herself, Aki Aragaki. You see, when Masamune was young, he and a younger Aki were the bestest of buddies, with her standing up for him and teaching him how to fend for himself, because younger Masamune was bullied for his weight, so he couldn't do much. Until one day when he went up to her window, she formally rejected him. Ever since, he's been planning his revenge. What's his plan exactly? To get with Aki and dump her immediately. You know what? That's valid. What the show does absolutely best, in my opinion, is that it's the perfect rom-com. Yeah, I know I'm gonna have pitchforks and torches at my front doorstep, but I need you all to listen to me first. The show perfectly balances both sweet, genuine, and sometimes deep topics while also being a comedy. And I'll just say this, it's really damn funny. I laughed quite a few times during the entirety of it. Each character plays off one another really well, and they actually feel like real people, just enjoying their time. Aki, who may seem like your typical mean girl, is super entertaining to watch. You learn why she is the way she is because simply she's a spoiled rich girl. She's used to having everything handed to her. Then you have Yoshino, who's also funny as hell, with every single one of her lines having perfect delivery and timing. Masamune's sister and mom are also fun to watch, and I find it funny how his mom is like the shortest person in the entire show, but she's awesome regardless. But easily, my favorite character is Neko. She's just the sweetest girl ever, and I was a bit thrown off by her demeanor when we first met her, and after Masamune and Aki are crossing the street, she almost hits him with her car, but stops thankfully. We learn eventually that Neko has been in love with Masamune and that she's genuine with her feelings. And after a moment at her place, Masamune comes to terms with this situation, asking himself if the revenge plot is even worth it. And the worst part is when he ultimately rejects her, resulting in her attitude completely changing. And throughout this, you're thinking, what's going to happen now? Well, we eventually learn that she takes medicine because she has seizures, which the show does a good job of hinting at, with the pill bottles on the counter in her room. And damn man, if I told you that I teared up when Masamune came to visit her in the hospital, I'd be telling you the truth. Because it's revealed that she genuinely had fallen in love, something that we all want. But at the end of the day, some of us just don't get that. And the show perfectly shows that how that can affect someone. It hurts even harder when Masamune finds her at the top of the school building with her scattering notes everywhere. It just hurts your heart, but strangely in the right way. Or the scene with both Aki and Neko in the classroom. Neko chastises her for saying that she's in love with Masamune, and Aki is honest about her feelings, saying that her love for Masamune has deeper roots. And to me, this whole scene right here is heartbreaking to watch. And what I like even more is what the show does with pairing up both Neko and Aki here. Both are similar, but also so different. Both are rich, but one is troubled and the other is genuine. Oh, and by the way, to those asking, I definitely think Masamune should have chosen Neko instead of Aki. Yes, Your Honor, I have said my piece. Overall, Masamune's Revenge was a show that I didn't expect to be this high, but here we are, 9 out of 10. I highly recommend you to go watch this gem. It's underrated and really damn good.
Wait, I'm a ghost. What am I worried about?
If I had to truly put words into pure cinema, then what sticks to me about Bunny Girl Senpai is the supernatural phenomenon known as puberty syndrome. As Google defines it, is a supernatural phenomenon that manifests itself as a result of intense turmoil or insecurity during adolescence. And if you're just as confused as I was when watching this for the first time, allow me to explain. What I love so much is the supernatural element to it all. Aside from the puberty syndrome, even though I know these things involve puberty syndrome, but hold on a sec. Later episodes involve body swapping, clones, and even another girl that looked extremely similar to Mai. Now, I haven't seen the movies because they're not available to watch where I live, but I know some crazy shit goes down. Seriously, if anyone has a way of watching the movies, please send it to me. I need all of them. Japan, stop harboring them! Now, I'm gonna touch on Mai and Sakata's relationship really quickly because they are certainly something. Sakata is more daring and out of pocket sometimes, meanwhile Mai tries to keep him in check by sometimes stepping on his foot, but he ends up just taking pleasure in that too. They're definitely adorable with each other, like the ending scene of episode 1 with Mai at Sakata's front door is cute, or literally every moment they're on screen. I don't know, there's not really anything I dislike about the show. Maybe the middle half drags on a bit too long with Sakata fake dating Koa, but the moments they share are sweet and wholesome, so I'll give it that. Overall, really enough to grasp the sheer scope of this show. Please check it out if you haven't, and vibe to the ending credits song while you're at it. 9 out of 10. It's a saddening, epic journey.
Light work, no reaction.
Ooh. Okay, it's got a little kick.
Toradora is a show where it took me completely by surprise by how amazing its writing is. Every single character is so damn good. Like, there is not a single bad character in this entire show. What I love most about it is the deep but grounded story. Like I just mentioned, the main 5 characters of the show really bring it to life with their unique personalities. We have our main male lead, Ryuji, who is a chill and laid back guy who also knows how to cook really well. Then there's the palm top tiger, Taiga herself, a short fused girl who doesn't take shit from anyone. Then we have Minarine, who is the energetic but fun girl who is sometimes in her own little world. Then there's Ami, who's the arrogant but also caring woman who uses a fake personality to get what she wants. Finally, we have Kitamura, who is a smart and laid-back dude just having a good time. The story involves Ryuji and Taiga, 2 high school students who team up together to help each other go out with their crushes. You see, Ryuji has a crush on Minarine, and Taiga has a crush on Kitamura. But over time, they eventually drift into a relationship. And in my opinion, this show is the perfect example of enemies to lovers. And yes, I know I need to watch more, but damn, this is so good. Toradora also feels so real, with certain moments of the show evoking things that feel realistic or deep. A lot of moments either made me seriously lock in, or on the brink of tears. Like there's one moment where the student council president, Kano, made it clear that she's going to America, and leading up to that point, Kitamura had a crush on her all this time. So it's ultimately devastating when she declines him, which results in him absolutely losing it. Her main reason for doing this is simply she doesn't want to be a burden to him. Another moment later on, which almost had me crying, was near the end. And this is when the show's tone changed very slightly, but you can tell where it happens. The first half is a lighthearted romance with funny moments, but the second half just hits you with all the emotions. I know a lot of people in shows don't like tonal shifts, but I can respect this show for at least doing it. Anyway, in the final episode, Ryuji and Taiga are officially in a relationship. Whoa, spoiler! Because throughout everything that's happened, they were the ones destined for each other. They both plan to move away and get married eventually when Ryuji turns 18. And Ryuji's mom, who's a character who's not really in her head half the time, confronts both of them about running away. And the conversation just turns into a fight, with Ryuji boldly telling her to not blame her mistakes as a person and a parent onto them. This scene directly broke my heart because it sucks seeing this happen, considering through and through his mom still loves him so much, and since his dad ran away, it was all left to her to do her best. It's such a powerful scene considering everything that has happened leading up to this point. One more area in the show that I'd like to discuss is about Minarine. Throughout the journey, she's shown to not really be in the whole game of love, and midway through, Ami says something to her that changes her entire attitude. After that, truly cannot describe what Darling in the Franxx truly lives up to be. It's a show where going into it, I had high expectations considering how popular it got in 2018. Not only does it have well choreographed action sequences, but when I finished it, I was in absolute tears. This is the first anime or show in general to ever make me cry. I was in tears the entire time, and the ending made me sob so hard I just couldn't hold it in. The story is absolutely incredible, with beautiful animation and visuals to make it feel truly alive. In the show, humanity has changed by living in biodomes known as plantations, cities that are hidden from the world because of a threat known as Klaxosaurs. And in order to fight back against them, they have built giant mechs known as Franxx to combat them. The way in which the show portrays how humans lost their humanity due to unnecessary and selfish needs, along with everything else, is super well done and established. Here we meet the main characters: Mitsuru, Futoshi, Zotome, Goto, Ichigo, Miku, Kokoro, and Ikuno. Children who are artificially created to pilot each of the Franxx. And I think the show's overall story is something to note now, of how the children's only purpose in life is to pilot a Franxx. Not only is that super messed up, but if the child isn't capable of piloting a Franxx, they're deemed worthless, since that's the only thing humanity has going for themselves. There's also moments of the kids getting tested when they were young to see their potential, and the ones who failed gradually disappeared as time went on. It's this kind of eerie storytelling that's super intriguing to me, because it constantly makes you wonder. The story is so deep and interesting that I can't talk about it all in this video alone. But let's talk about my favorite part about this show, which is the two that had me invested the entire time that were our main leads, Hiro and Zero Two. Oh my god, I don't even know where to begin. Hiro's internal struggle and guilt of not having the ability to ever pilot a Franxx again is really well told, considering the kind of world that he's in. And Zero Two, well, we'll get to her in just a sec, but back on the relationship. I don't even know where to start. The relationship and how everything has come to be is absolutely devastating, but it is also beautifully told from a story standpoint at the same time. We learn that when Zero Two was young, she was abused, tortured, and experimented on, which is so hard to watch seeing her in pain every time they did this. And one day, a young Hiro saved her from that pain by breaking her window. Startled by this, she then grabs his hand and the two head off into the forest. It was the first time Zero Two ever saw the outside world, but most importantly, this was her first time ever interacting with another person, someone who didn't see her or view her as an experiment or a tool, but as a human. We're then taken to a tree where it's shown that Zero Two had scraped her ankle. To help, Hiro licks her wound, which surprises her. And throughout all of this, she was carrying a picture book known as The Beast and the Prince, a direct and symbolic representation of what Hiro and Zero Two are, with Hiro being the prince and Zero Two being the beast and or princess. Eventually, Zero Two points out the word marriage, which Hiro explains that it's when two people devote themselves to love each other for the rest of their lives, and he makes a promise to her that once they get out of their situation, he wants to be with her forever and get married, so that he can be her darling. This not only makes me burst into tears, but Zero Two begins to cry with her hugging Hiro tightly. Yeah, I'm fine, guys. My eyes are just sweating, that's all. But only seconds later, they're found with Hiro getting knocked unconscious while dragging Zero Two away, desperate to see her darling again. In the main time frame of the show, Zero Two's goal is to become human again, with her being told at a very young age that if she can kill Klaxosaurs, she will become human. And it's absolutely devastating when her main reason for doing all of this was to see her darling again, Hiro. Man, holy shit. And when they finally realize that they're the kids from when they were younger, since they got their memories wiped right after they just met, tears slowly pouring out of my eyes, knowing that they finally had met each other again after all this time. Another thing this show does incredibly well is the various subtle hints to its overall message. In episode 15, my favorite moment of the entire show happens when Hiro and Zero Two finally reunite, declaring their love for one another. It's truly beautiful because the Franxx that they pilot Strelitzia in every episode leading up to this moment was white with orange and red features. But when Hiro and Zero Two become one, the mech's colors are inverted. And the best part though is that it's a direct reflection of what Zero Two is. The red resembling her younger self, the large blue horn representing her horns, and the hair plus everything else. She's finally accepted herself for who she is, because she spent all this time trying to become human and see Hiro again. But now that ship has sailed, she's found her darling and her life mission is complete. That's what I love most about Zero Two's character, the way in which she struggles with her identity, and the payoff that we get in the end is absolutely incredible. There's other moments in the show, like when Hiro and Zero Two are out on the balcony viewing the city. Not only is the symbolism about humanity evident here, but Zero Two's tone and the way in which she talks about it. She calls the plantation itself a lifeless city, and yeah, she's right. As much as Ape and everyone else portrays it to be, there's stuff hidden from the world, and no matter how perfect it is, it's truly not. It's full of questions left unanswered to the naked eye, which makes you question further about what this world is truly like. Anyway, the scene develops further into her saying that she can get Hiro out of here, and that they can run away together. A direct reference to when Hiro saved her a very long time ago, and when Zero Two pours an excessive amount of liquid onto her food that's implied to be sweet, or how she's seen to eat a lot of suckers, it's all because Hiro gave her a piece of candy when they first met. It's so sweet and wholesome. Goddamn, why is this show so incredible? The writing gives you hints that are subtle and sometimes hard to miss, but when you do notice it, it truly makes you sit there and wonder about everything that has happened prior. One more thing that I'll talk about this show is the villain, who is truly terrifying on the inside. Papa is a well-done antagonist, especially for someone who just sits in a chair the entire time. And while he doesn't appear for most of the time, his overall presence is this religious and cult-like figure, of whom the kids worship him as a god. Scenes like when the kids are all eating at the table and when they recite a prayer that glorifies him in all of his glory and role in society, it's such a good method of showing how controlling his ways of life are. And what makes it better is that throughout the show, the kids start to question his overall authority and who he really is, to which revealed he's the head leader of an alien army known as Verm, which results in me absolutely crying from the absolutely amazing finale that is of the show. And I've seen a lot of people who really don't like the second half of the show, and that's fair. I can see why some wouldn't. From what I've seen, most people call the second half a fever dream, and that it's mainly due to Verm not being hyped up as the true antagonist. But here's the thing, the show gives you hints throughout it all that Papa isn't who he truly is. And come on, just look at every scene with the Ape Council, they're clearly up to something. Like in episode 15 when the Grand Crevasse is opened up, he says that the day of humanity's liberation is upon them, with a very ominous tone. Yeah, what do you mean by that? or how he and the Seven Sages constantly observe the battles that go on with the Franks, or how he literally orders a suicide mission for Squad 26 to slow down the Gutenberg-sized Klaxosaur. Yeah, this guy is super thoughtful. Villains like this are my absolute favorite due to their overall effect on society and how manipulative they can be. He's like a more mature version of Bellows, with both of them having fantastic designs. And that ending scene, like I said earlier, I cried my eyes out, purely because of how beautiful the show's overall message is, but also how Hiro and Zero Two sacrificed their lives to save all of humanity. It took a lot of courage from everyone, but in the end, the world was restored to its natural glory, free of its control from Papa's cruel and unusual ways of life, and is able to live the way society was a long time ago, now able to rebuild the future for generations to come. And dare I say, the line that broke me was how in the end of everything, when the rest of the kids now grown up in time having passed by, are looking up at the sky with Hiro and Zero Two, who stuck together until the end, were the most human out of all of them. I'm not crying. You're crying. Overall, Darling in the Franxx is a show where I was blown away by every single bit of its excellent writing, characters, story, and above all else, its message of how the importance of humanity, love, and freedom are the most powerful and important components of life, and that we should cherish them for as long as we shall remain. This show is my absolute favorite anime, and dare I say, my absolute favorite show of all time. I'm not sure yet exactly, but it's pretty damn close. Again, like what I said earlier, and what I'm saying right now about this masterpiece isn't enough to truly grasp the entirety of it. I plan to save all of that for a video coming within the next few weeks, where I go into every aspect of why I love this show so damn much. 10 out of 10, it's truly phenomenal, and I highly encourage you to go watch it for yourself. Wow, that was a lot of talking. Anime was something that I've never really touched on until now, and yeah, I was missing out on some really good stuff. And honestly, romance anime are some of my absolute favorite things to watch, not only because they're super wholesome, but mainly because they can be super relatable and realistic, showing the different aspects of life that define us every day. And the ones that are good, and the ones that are bad are truly bad. It kind of depends on how you view a show, but as long as it's got the basic components of what makes a good piece of media, then I'm gonna have a good time. And I've kind of devoted this whole year to solely watching anime, so if you guys have any good recommendations, post them down in the comments. I already have 10 shows and a few movies I plan to check out over the next few months, and I'm excited as all hell to see them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did, because this was a lot of fun to make. And stay tuned for my biggest video on the channel thus far, where I go into depth about Darling in the Franxx and why it's my favorite anime possible show of all time, coming within the next few weeks. Until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.